Hey folks, so I wanted to go ahead and share some Godzilla books that I have acquired over the years, and this one in particular is called Godzilla's Perfect Guidebook, and it came out in 1998 to coincide with the American release with Matthew Broderick. He was the lead in the movie. I quite honestly didn't really like the movie. I think most Godzilla fans, the pure ones, would say the movie was just a money grab, but regardless, this book is in Japanese, although it is kind of a cross promotion with the American movie, so I figure I'd just kind of thumb through this book and share with you guys, and maybe share a few things that I found the most interesting. So yeah, I'm just going to start thumbing through this here, but the first sections are kind of about the American movie and some cool screenshots in those movies. Did not really like the little raptor slash Godzilla scenes, but that's beside the point. Regardless, it's got some pretty good picture quality, and it's certainly printed pretty well. Then there's a section here which is around collectibles, and a lot of this stuff I think was available in various toy stores, and these items here are Bandai versions of renditions of the Godzilla movie. I think I may have had one of these. Granted, I was probably under teenage age, I would imagine. Yeah, so we got some cool collectibles here. We got some posters, some other little trinkets, stickers, things like that. And I think this section more goes into the Japanese Godzillas, going back to the beginning. So this kind of chronicles the movies from start to finish. So the 54 one, this is, I guess you would call it Gigantus the Fire Monster. Has some very nice images here. King Kong versus Godzilla, one of my favorites. It's very comedic, believe it or not. At least the American translated version of it. I think it was, the translations are always funny to me just because it's over dramatized and it's not really the actors saying it, and some of the lines are quite hilarious, particularly in King Kong versus Godzilla. This is Godzilla versus Mothra, three-headed monster, Monster Zero, that was a good one. Sea Monster, Ibara, son of Godzilla, getting into the 70s now. Actually, sorry, that part was technically the 60s still. Godzilla vs. Revenge. Oh yeah, this one was quite a nice movie just because as a kid, you really embodied the spirit of Ishiro, just due to all the bullies he had been facing, and he kind of gets transported to Monster Island and learns from Minya the ways to sort of, let's say, have the confidence to stand up for yourself. Godzilla vs. Smog Monster, yeah, this is definitely the 70s. Godzilla vs. Gigan, Megalon, Mechagodzilla, Terror of Mechagodzilla, and we get into the 80s. The Heisei series, Godzilla vs. Biollante, that was good. You know, certainly a lot of good movie images, and probably some text I would not be able to read, but nevertheless, as a collector, you just like to see all this stuff in print. And then there's a section here that kind of goes by the characters within the Godzilla franchise. You know, there's Mothra, King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, so on and so forth. Just kind of thumb through this. Yeah, I was always amazed at just how unique every character was, and they were very representative of the time which they were created in. So the classic Godzilla was very much a force of nature. In the 60s, there was a bit of a kind of a hero kind of sort of trend, and in the 70s they definitely tried to make it much more about children, hence the large irises of the Godzillas at the time. These images here, the pages here are just kind of where Godzilla had appeared or attacked. I think that's kind of cool. So if you ever want to go to Japan, you can probably use this in a way to navigate to some of the settings for the movies. Certainly I cannot read it, but I'm sure with modern technology you'd be able to get this translated fairly easily with your phone. I think this section is on Koichi Kawakita. Excuse me if I did not pronounce that right, but he's a special effects supervisor for a lot of the more, let's call it the 90s Godzillas, and I was always a fan of his work. There's a pretty large body of text here, probably talking about him. Then we get into the movie posters section. Always enjoyed these as well. And then, then we get into this cool section here that has collectibles, and the one that I like to call in particular that really captivated me that I was not aware of before I got this book was this figure here. And if you can see it, let me see, zoom in just a tiny bit here. This is the remote control Godzilla made by Tokyo Marui. I did have a video up that showed the 1954 version, and if I zoom out just a tiny bit here, that is represented in this image here, and then there's the Mosra. And yeah, once I saw this, I couldn't believe my eyes. I just never knew there was a remote control Godzilla. I had always been kind of collecting static figurines before then, but then this took me on a wild goose chase to locate this, and certainly this was before the internet became particularly popular, so you'd have to get someone who maybe speaks Japanese and is going to be traveling to Japan to try to locate this stuff. So I'll maybe share that in a future video. But certainly this is kind of a documentation of a lot of the cool Godzilla collectibles. I mean, I guess this, I think this might be a toilet paper roll thing. That's kind of funny. Godzilla masks. There's your banks and cards and little things, trinkets. I think this is the video releases, Laserdisc. It's been a while. And then we get into some text here. I think maybe more of an appendix showing everything that's contained in the book, some data on Godzilla. Yeah, and that's kind of a quick look at this Godzilla book. Now, just for reference purposes, this is called Godzilla Perfect Guide. It's made by a company, Jibun Mooks, number 204. And here's the spine. Maybe that I might have to put that in the description. Anyway, that's a book review, and hope you liked it. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks.